That's just so fun to see these stories come to life in that way.
Chip and Joanna Gaines were huge stars when they were on Fixer Upper.
A lot of times production may not understand the business side of your business.
But then in 2017, they announced their departure from the HGTV network. And over the last few years, we haven't seen them much. So what happened to them? What are they doing now? And what was the bizarre reason that they left HGTV in the first place? For 5 seasons, Chip and Joanna warmed our hearts as we watched them on HGTV. And they were incredibly successful too. Which is why it was so shocking to everyone when they announced that they would not be making more episodes of their iconic show. But not only were they not continuing with their show, they also left the network altogether. When sharing the sad news, the two of them released a statement that said they were confident that this was the best choice for them. But they said that it was incredibly difficult, especially because all of us had grown up with their family over the 5 years they were on the air. And they said that they knew everyone was rooting for them on the other side of the screen. But even though it was bittersweet to be saying goodbye, they knew that it was what needed to be done. The finale of their show aired on HGTV in April 2018.
And by all accounts, it looked like that was the last time we'd all see them.
But interestingly enough, it looked like Chip and Joanna weren't going to go quietly. In fact, it appears as though they had never really intended to really be away from the spotlight at all. Just a few months later, in November 2018, the two of them announced that they were actually returning to TV. But it wasn't with HGTV this time. Instead, they announced that they were creating their very own channel called the Magnolia Network. On the network, they could include a wide range of different lifestyle and design shows, as well as shows where they would be the star. However, the network wasn't set to launch until January 2022, which meant they would be living under the radar for at least 4 years before we saw them on TV again. That was a pretty risky move. What if people forgot about them in the meantime? Well, that didn't seem to be too much of a problem for Chip and Joanna, since starring in renovation shows isn't the only thing they do. In fact, the two of them have built an entire empire with their Magnolia brand. They are the proud owners of Hotel 1928, and they also own a shopping center called Magnolia Market and are the authors of several books. And while we all sat patiently waiting for their return to TV, the duo also continued to work on their home in Waco and post about their lives on their blog. In a 2019 blog post, Joanna wrote that they were choosing to keep some of the original pieces from their old home. She said that it meant a lot to their family to have those pieces of history with them, and that it gave the home a lot more meaning and character. Aside from the major renovations that they did on their home, Chip and Joanna also added a large garden. They have posted several pictures of their raised garden planters on Instagram. And it turns out that they even grow some of the food they serve at their restaurant Magnolia Table at their very own home. So even though they might not have been on TV, they were definitely still keeping busy with their various businesses. And they were also raising their 5 children. But luckily for them, their network did finally launch with some major success. Not only were they now the owners and producers of the shows on their network, but we all once again got to see them on TV. Although the success they've seen so far still hasn't reached the level of their HGTV days, it seems like they don't really mind that at all. In an interview with Deadline in May of this year, Chip reflected on their various successes in life. And he said that he always loved how they still looked at their projects just as naively as the first day they got into the business. He said that this is what made them particularly cool, and it was something that he was really proud of. He also said that they never really looked at other successful things and tried to recreate them. So even though something might not be as successful, they're still proud of it because they know it was their 100% authentic and original idea. On a more personal note, the two of them also celebrated a major milestone at the beginning of this year. In January, they celebrated their 20th wedding anniversary. This celebration didn't just mark the beginning of their marriage though, because it also marked 2 decades since they found their massive Magnolia empire. In honor of the milestone, the two of them took to Instagram to share a video montage which looked back on their journey. They also posted a lengthy blog post on their website about the occasion and talked about just how far they've really come. In the post, Chip said that 2003 was a year like no other, and that they were young, newly married, and ready to take on the world together. He said that when they were young, Joanna wanted to just have a little storefront in Waco, which was a huge dream at the time, especially since they didn't really have much back then. But Chip said that they believed in each other and in the dream that they could have it all. And they were able to figure out their finances to make something work, because at the end of the day, they didn't just want something for themselves. They wanted something that would matter to their family and their community as well. Still, Chip said that they couldn't have predicted where they would end up in a million years. And not only did they grow their business, but they also went from being a couple to being a family of 7, which is also incredibly special to them. Chip said that now all their kids are really growing up, and so is their business. The way they've managed to find success is something that they will forever be proud of, and they know that they've made a huge impact. So even though they took a brief break from being on TV and left the HGTV network, the two of them have been doing better than ever. And even though we don't see them as much as we used to when they were on Fixer Upper, it looks like they're still keeping themselves busy and in the public eye. So what do you guys think about all this? What are your thoughts on the two of them leaving HGTV to start their own network? Do you think it was a smart move? Or do you think that they'll continue to expand their business? Or do you think they've reached their peak? I would love to hear what you have to say about this one. Let me know in the comments below.